Now, let's get into the specifics of how one on ones can create EX value when organizations and managers create value for their employees. We all know that organizations need to deliver value to employees, but what does that really mean? Here's our secret sauce for employee value. Employee value is comprised of transactional value and human value. Let's take a closer look at each of these in turn. Transactional value includes the basics of the organization and employee relationship, such as competitive compensation, benefits, workplace safety, and the like. In employee one on ones, this includes providing information for employees, such as achievement of targets, performance metrics, and short term action items. But employee value is also comprised of human value, which can be created by doing two things: filling the three psychological need buckets of employees, which are autonomy, competence, and relatedness, and facilitating information flow, bi directional communication between the manager and the employee. We'll cover both of these later in this lesson. Overall, we assume that organizations handle transactional value pretty well. Without transactional value, you arguably don't have a functioning business or particularly effective one on ones. However, we also assume that organizations are not creating as much human value as they could in their one on ones. So let's update our ecosystem to include the two forms of employee value: transactional and human. Now, we'll focus on the two critical pieces of human value: filling psychological need buckets and information flow. The three basic psychological needs are based on self determination theory, a theory of human personality and motivation that's been studied for over 30 years in dozens of countries and organizational contexts. The first need, autonomy, is all about personally approving of what you do while also feeling a sense of choice in your day to day decisions. Competence, the second need, is fulfilled when the employee feels both effective in what they've done and capable of doing what's needed in the future. Lastly, relatedness is about having a relationship in which there's a shared understanding of who the other person is, as well as acknowledged appreciation for what the other person has done. Now, we'll look at the specific behaviors managers can do to help meet each of these needs in a one on one. If autonomy comes down to choice and approval, that means that the leader, in the context of a one on one meeting, ought to minimize pressure and control over an employee to give a sense of choice, as well as give a clear, meaningful rationale for what's being asked of the employee, so that the employee personally approves of what they are doing. Competence at its core is about feeling effective and capable. For leaders in one on one meetings, need supportive behaviors include giving prompt, constructive feedback on employee performance so that the employee feels effective in what they do, as well as reframing failure as an opportunity to learn. You may have heard this called growth mindset. This helps an employee feel capable of success in the future. Relatedness happens when there is mutual understanding and appreciation between two people. To facilitate this in a one on one meeting, leaders can ask open ended questions, be an active listener, and express empathy, which helps the employee feel understood. They can also be sure to acknowledge the accomplishments of the employee and advocate for appropriate compensation and organizational advancement opportunities, which, of course, helps that employee feel appreciated and not taken for granted. Information flow, the second component of human value, is critical for a healthy one on one. Neither participant is dominating the conversation, and both have important information to hear and to share. Three important characteristics of information flow is that the information being shared should be accurate, timely, and relevant. In a one on one, there are some key categories of information that should be typically covered, and these are explored in detail on the downloadable worksheet. First, organizational updates, where the manager addresses any news or rumors that have been circulating. Second, performance feedback, where the manager celebrates the successes of the employee and also acknowledges challenges and provides encouragement for the future. Third, the growth and learning plan. This is the big picture. It helps the manager understand, is the employee satisfied professionally? What exactly does this employee want to do in the future? Fourth, the action plan. This keeps both the employee and the manager accountable to complete concrete next steps. Now, remember, a manager needs to earn the right to delve into these next two categories. Frontline intelligence, which we've already explored, is problem and waste identification, improvement ideas, and customer feedback. There's also discussion of need buckets. How exactly is your employee doing with regard to their psychological needs of autonomy, competence, and relatedness? Now that we've covered the people component of one on ones, it's time to dive into the process side and explore one on ones in a unique way that will drive employee engagement and take advantage of this low hanging fruit.